Hello there. I'm going to read today a story called Squirt by Stacy Nikos. It's a good story. Let's see what it has to say. Squirt got up one bad stormy day to tossing seas and frothing spray. There won't be fizzling seahorse rides. Instead, I will be stuck inside. Squirt crossed his arms and colored red, then shot out of his cozy bed. Poor Squirt, he's going to be stuck inside. Torpedo fast he zipped and zoomed, crash landing in his TV room. The hollow clam showed Captain Moon, an adventurer's cartoon. Squirt tried, but he could not ignore the cape and hat or gleaming sword. Tinting back to normal glow, he watched this Buccaneer's new show. He gazed spellbound at Captain Moon, defeated flying pirate goons. Enthralled, he watched them battle gales and cringed as winds tore up the sails. But when they stormed a pirate's lair, Squirt was hooked and he did not care about the churning sea outdoors. Captain Moon drowned out its roars. Watching TV instead of being able to play, that's sad. Your brain needs something more than this, his mother said and gave a kiss. She'd come to smooth out piles of sand and polish up the hollow clam. It needs to stretch and groove and play, not just sit and watch all day. Squirt tuned out what his mother said and sailed with Captain Moon instead. He turned out when the sea calmed down and friends came out to clown around. He tuned out games of ink and hide upon seahorses. What a ride. He was zoned out, completely stuck until he had a change of luck. Driven day and night to glow, the hollow clam grew very slow. It needed to rest a little while in tons of clear white ocean sun. But Squirt refused to leave its view, so that clam was forced to do what any clam would do, you know, driven day and night to glow. It hitched a ride on out to sea, gone with Captain Moon TV. I can't believe my eyes. Oh no, how will I watch my favorite show? Squirt's cries were so outrageous indeed, they were contagious. They stormed the seas and shook the stone. The waters creaked and smashed and groaned. Sand began to twist and swirl. The sea spun like a twill-to-whirl. Squirt's mother heard the noise all right. It gave the woman quite a fright. It barreled down the kitchen wall and caused her stew to creep and crawl. But moons are fast and quick at hand, both in sea and on dry land. She raised her lid upon a shield. She charged the waves, she would not yield. She battled through the TV land, trailing apron, spoon in hand. Rings of gloom were all about, and Squirt was huddled in a pout. Whatever happened, Squirt, my son? It sounds like you've come quite undone. Squirt wiped his tear-filled oval eyes, then mumbled in a trembling sigh. The TV's gone, it's run away. How shall I spend my tragic day? Go and find your long-lost friends for games of inking and pretend. Squirt frowned, his tentacles then crossed. He thought about what he had lost. I'm much too sad for friends today. I'd have no fun, there's just no way. Chase seahorses, ride them far, build sand castles in the yard. Squirt pursed his lips, shook his head as colors changed from blue to red. I do not want to do that stuff. I'm too upset. It's way too tough. Squirt, why don't you swim outdoors or maybe search the ocean floors? I do not want to. Can't you see? I want to sit and watch TV. Squirt hollered out in ink-filled cries. What happened next was no surprise. He squirted so much jet black ink that it got dark and hard to think. Both Squirt and Mom tried hard to find a way out of this murky bind, but all they did was bump and twist and lose themselves in inky mist. And suddenly Squirt was attacked all at once from front to back. An enemy jumped on his head. It was light, but hard as lead. Another jabbed him in the arm, but it was round and did no harm. A third one tackled from behind. Squirt felt it reach round and wind. Ah. What could it be? Dun, 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 dun. It was just then the waters cleared, and it was worse than Squirt had feared. I thought there were pirate squid, not an apron, spoon, and lid. He frowned at this odd tangled turn and purpled up from bow to stern. Bow to stern, bow to stern. I might be saying that wrong. But then he saw his mother's eyes. They smiled at him, and he wondered why. No, perhaps they aren't, she said. Perhaps there's someone else instead. She gave her son a kiss and squeeze and swam off on the water's breeze. All the colors and emotions there. Go. Squirt colored pink, then blue and green. Whatever could his mother mean? She pushed the lid up with a spoon and looked up to the empty room. He pushed the lid up with a spoon and looked out on the empty room. Mom's words hung in the salty sea. They simply would not let him be. In his mind, she saw her look. It tugged at him. She just like a hook. Ugh. Pulled his thoughts 100 miles and caused his mouth to frown and smile. There is a way to Captain Moon. Squirt cried out the kitchen spoon to the kitchen. Kitchen cried out to the kitchen spoon. Oh, I see. Good. He got to work right on the spot. Squirt scrunched up and tight and thought. He thought so hard his body quaked. His colors changed. His insides ached. His eyes closed up. His arms got tight. He thought and thought with all of his might. Then he just could think no more. Squirt saw a wisp and a feather, white, tough, metallic, golden light. Velvet strong commander's red, regal to purple on his head. I did it! Wow! Hey, look at me! I'm captain of the open sea! Da-da-da. Striking up the gallant pose. Good if I knew how to read sometimes. Squirt charged outside in the new clothes. He raised his sword to thrust and parry. Dueling pirates, mean and scary. He searched for treasures old and new, forgetting why he'd been so blue. But as the sea passed into the night, Squirt gazed out at the changing light, imagining what he could do with that magic glowing sea. An astronaut? Or a matador? Who knows what else he's got in store. Great story. Hope you enjoyed that. Squirt. Go have fun.